May the words of my mouth and the meditation of mine heart be acceptable in Yahweh's sight. He is our strength and our redeemer, and it is in his name, which is his authority, that we pray, praise, proclaim, project, and protect today's message. Amen. Shalom Yasrael, Kwam Yasrael Tada. Kofi, Hello, the servants of Christ, my Shalom Hey. Hello, everybody. I'm Pastor Kofi, Pastor Servants of Christ, where we are always changing lives one mind at a time, but being the voice of the voiceless and speaking the unspoken. Thanks for being with us on this on this evening. And prayerfully, you all are doing well. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Right. Praise Yah for you. Praise Yah for another opportunity. See y'all coming in here. We give all honor and praise to the Most High. We give all praise and honor to him for my wife, the Honorable Maya, who lives a life that's able to be honored. You can check her out on TikTok, YouTube, her website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish, not A-N-D, the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. She is a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist by degree. All righty, come on in, everybody. Hopefully you're doing well. We thank you guys. Made it safely to our destination. We got something up there new for the Patreon fam. So if you'd like to be able to go on Patreon and check something out, we got something for you on there, and we appreciate you. I'm gonna try and be on. I'm not sure how early, but we're gonna try and come on and start giving you guys the early riser session outside of Monday for the week. We won't do Wednesday. I'm gonna try and come on. That'll be on Patreon though, so you got to be with us on Patreon. I'll do it on Zoom if y'all want to try and come on Zoom, I guess. But we'll make sure that it's on. Actually, no, we'll do that on Patreon only. We'll do that on Patreon only. Praise y'all. Right, but hopefully y'all are doing well. I don't know why I just put these on. These are my blue light glasses. Whenever I'm looking in the camera all day or looking at or typing stuff all day, these come in handy, so I don't have to have my eyes getting torn apart by these things. But welcome, come on in, appreciate you. How you doing, Carla? How you doing, Sierra? How you doing, Sister Monica? Yeah, they're not prescription. They're just for blue lights. You can see they don't even fit me. They're too small. Right, but they're just to block out the blue light. Matter of fact, you see these got the big scratch on them. I don't know if you I guess you can't see them. I can see it, big old scratch on there. But hopefully you guys are doing well. Thanks for being on tonight. Let's go ahead and get right into this. Praise Yah. Let's go ahead and get into this tonight. I want to discuss stop creating these heroes. Stop creating these heroes. A lot of people creating these heroes. Stop creating these heroes. You know, a lot of people like to create heroes and stuff and have them fall. I just want to give you a reminder, stop creating these heroes in general. What do I mean by stop creating these heroes? See, people say be careful about your heroes, right? You got to meet them one day. Be careful about who you make a hero. But a lot of people are making heroes of people who are not for you in the first place. Right? I think that's the dynamic. That's a part of the conversation we got to have. We got to chill out on these people that we keep saying, I can't believe that so-and-so fell down. I can't believe that this person messed up. You know, can you believe that so-and-so is not doing? And these are people that never show up in your diaspora. These are people that never show up in your neighborhood, right? We're busy telling people, vote for this one and vote for this one and vote for that one. And they never even consider saying anything about you until it's time to get a vote. It was very interesting. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, they ran. Part of what they ran on was making sure that you can get reparations. Where's that at? And then somebody going to be quick to say, well, in California and in North Carolina, they said no reparations. Right. Matter of fact, the United States corporation can't give you reparations anyways. It's going to have to come to your states. And your states aren't going to give you what real reparations are. But I'm just talking about in general, these heroes. See, how many people made heroes out of hip hop artists? And if you're not one of them, that's fine. But if the shoe fits, wear it, great. You know, right? If it doesn't, take it off. How you doing, Sister Nadine? And we got to be careful. These heroes we're making. How you doing, Brad? We must be careful about these heroes that we are creating in our diaspora over and over and over again, and expecting these people to help us and bless us in our situations that we're in. We must be careful about these so-called heroes who are not here to provide anything for you other than a way for you to make sure that they are taken care of by you. They're not coming to knock on your door. They're not coming to make sure that there's extra money in your community, right? They're here to ensure that they are going to be taken care of. Be careful about these so-called heroes. Be careful about these heroes that you keep honoring. Be careful. Right? We keep honoring these heroes. We keep honoring these so-called heroes, right? Oh yeah, make sure that you look at this one, look at that one, or whatever. Man, this dude was making sure that drugs was all up in your community. Now, am I saying that people can't change? No, I'm not saying that. But you're still out there talking about the drugs and talking about the killing. There's more people that are dying listening to your music. First of all, dying mentally. Right? Be careful about these heroes that you're raising up. By the way, Sister Nadine, do we have you as a moderator on YouTube? If not, can you switch over there real quick so I can make you a moderator? I meant to do that earlier this rising. If you don't mind, if you're able to, please make sure that you. I think we got you. Actually, do I have a mod? Yeah, you're a moderator on this one. Right? I don't know if we have you on there, right? Because you cupcake blessings on there. How you doing, Minister Tamara? How you doing, Brother Alex? How you doing, Brother Alton? I feel like I missed somebody who came on. But be careful about these people that you're turning into heroes. Right? See, to some child out there, Lil Wayne is heroic. How you doing, Sister Tori? I thought I missed somebody. To somebody, Lil Wayne is heroic. You're not a moderator on YouTube. Okay, can you go over there so I can make you one? Even if you're not going to be on YouTube normally. I just wanted to make sure that we had you on there as one, if you don't mind. If you don't mind. How you doing, Herman? Shalom to you. See, somebody out there is looking for Lil Wayne to be a hero. And then Lil Wayne says some stuff that sound nice, but Lil Wayne is coming up from a really jacked up space. Lil Wayne is not rapping to ensure that you're going to grow as a man. Right? Be careful of the people that you're raising up to be heroes. Of course, the heroes are falling. Thank you, Sister Nadine. I don't even think you have to stay on here. Hold on 1 second. Yep, got you. Got you. You're great. Thank you. Appreciate it. Right? So be careful about these people. Yeah, I saw you. Thank you. I got you changed. So if you want to go back or if you want to stay, it's up to you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Be careful about these people and how you're making them your hero. Right? Be careful about some of your own family members. How you doing, Sister Deborah? Who are not heroic. And see, there's the thing. We have made the heroes. And why are we making people? Matter of fact, why are we allowing people who are not our heroes to become our heroes? When did Superman become? And look, I'm not saying that we can't find anything, but I'm just saying, when did superhero become more heroic than some of our people? Right? We have created. Matter of fact, before I get on Superman too hard, let's get on us. Thank you, Holy Spirit. How you doing, Spike Me? How you doing, Sister Mignon? Before I get on Superman too bad, absentee fathers cannot be upset talking about that women and children don't look at them as heroes. I didn't say all fathers. Hear what I'm saying? Absentee fathers. You're not in any position. But somehow, some way, we've now turned the absentee father into a boss, we've turned the pimp into a way of life. We've turned the male thought into a way of life and given him every excuse, to the point to where he should have so little accountability that now the red pill community, well, some in the red pill community have now begun to say, hey, just go ahead and snip, go ahead and get forgive me, what is that? I don't even really like to use the word. Snip your area down there in the testicular region. So you, why am I forgetting this word? Whatever the word is. Go ahead and snip yourself down there so you can ensure that you can't have a child. How you doing, Kat? And so you can have as much sex as you want, but you'll never have to worry about having a child. Vasectomy. Thank you. How you doing, Michael? Right. And so have as much sex as you want. No accountability. right? Because that's what a red pill person should have. And women should be virgins. This is what the red pill community teaches, Fresh and Fit and others. Women should be virgins because you should be pure and chaste, but men should get as much sex out of them as possible so that they'll be ready to settle down with one woman at some point. How you doing, MIT Jelani? These are things that are very off, very weird, very odd. But these are the people who have become the heroes of the young man. At least their version of a young man. In our culture, men don't operate in such a manner, but in their culture, that's what makes a man a man. Be tough, be strong, right? Don't bow down to this or bow down to that, or, you know, do what don't let a woman tell you anything. Don't let a woman help you as a helpmeet. She's just there to serve. I mean, these are heroes. And then you see them fall and people say, now people try to defend them. How you doing, Brother Jermaine? You know, like Andrew Tate, who was literally teaching men how to pimp people. How you doing, Minister Bertram? Andrew Tate was literally teaching brothers how to pimp people. And now he ends up behind bars and they coming for him. And he says, oh no, what they're trying to do is they're trying to change who I was. Bro, you just literally, you had a school, and part of the curriculum was literally how to be a pimp. Right? Who are these heroes that we're creating, that we've given carte blanche to just keep going and going and going and going? Who are these heroes that we have made? Sisters, be careful about Gloria Steinem. Gloria Steinem was hired by the CIA and literally hired one of you to ensure that she would start talking bad about the black man. The CIA is in charge of Gloria Steinem. Gloria Steinem is supposed to be the godmother of feminism, the mother of feminism, some would say. While she's married to a whole man, telling y'all to not get married because men are trash. See, that was her CIA gig. She clocked in and clocked out of that. She didn't have to be that all day, every day. But she's trying to get you to be that all day, every day. Be careful about these people you're making heroes. And what happens with your heroes at first, if you're not careful? Have you ever noticed the people that you made heroes, even when you found out how non-heroic they were? When you found out how non-heroic these heroes were, did you ever realize that you ended up trying to defend the person that was really, you knew was despicable? You knew they did something wrong, but you had to hang in there because you had made them a hero. You had already said, no matter what, they cannot be wrong. They can't do anything dirty. Right? Jesse Smollett, or whatever his name is. Some people that already made up in their mind he can do no wrong. I mean, he's part of what show was he on? Was he Empire? He's from Empire. How dare they say anything? As if him being on the television show means anything as far as his character. Matter of fact, if you're going to get to that level, a lot of times you have to get to that level by having very little character. And then come to find out, his boys, you know, his homies, were the ones that outed him because they were going to put his homies behind bars. He said, all I need to do, thank you, Cleve, appreciate you. I already did. And I'm not worried about going to your expectations of anything or whatever, but hopefully you learn how to, you know, treat people with respect. But yeah, you have to be in a position, right? These are the heroes. Somebody like Cleaver would love that type of person, probably. Right? And it's interesting too. I pray for people like that because you got a name like Cleaver. You're somebody who likes to cut people apart. It makes sense. You got to be careful what you name these babies and what you teach them. But nevertheless, he's already been blocked. Right? But these are things that we have to realize, right? Is that we're in a position to where we got to be careful about who we've made our heroes. These people who we've turned into our heroes. You got to be careful. You hear what I'm saying? You have to be careful about who you have made your hero. Right? We have made people our heroes that shouldn't be heroes. We've made pastors our heroes that shouldn't be here. These are men and women. There are whole human beings out here who are waiting to lift up to places that maybe they don't deserve to be lifted up to. Matter of fact, Yahashua said, if I be lifted up, I'll draw men. We're not even trying to lift him up first to see if the pastor is somebody that Yahashua drew. He said he would do the drawing. But we already draw them in, or we vote them in, or we do all this stuff or whatever, right? Be careful about these people that you are turning into your hero. Who they are and what they represent. Oh, be careful. Be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful, y'all. There are so many people who we have put in positions that they don't deserve to be in. And we put them there. We put them there. We put them there. Right? I'm here to tell you, see, you set the standard. That we place more value in looks and names over the character and their word. Yeah, for sure. And I could see, by the way, look, I'm sweaty, been in this all day, and I could see that, obviously my hair doesn't look the way that people say it's supposed to look, and I'm not styled. So I could see how somebody could literally look at my looks and go, oh, this person is dirty, they're nasty, they're blah, blah, whatever, because I'm not really trying to change for people or trying to wear what people are trying to wear anymore. It's not something I'm worried about. Hey, how you doing, MIT Jenny? All right, so I'm not concerned about that at all. I'm not really concerned at all. I appreciate when people say things and talk about things and try to help people, but I'm not really concerned about those things. But I get it, right? But once again, this is why you got to be careful about your heroes. See, so if I look like Denzel Washington, does that mean that I know more about things because I look like Denzel? See, be careful who you make your heroes. Now, somebody said, what's wrong with Denzel? Well, I'm just saying, I'm just trying to give you a better example, all right? I've already gone into certain things. I'm not here to lambast Denzel tonight, but I'm trying to just show you that people are trying to make you out to be something that you're not, right? Be careful. Yeah, people don't even attempt to look with their spiritual eyes. Like we talked about this rising, they're on the surface. They're very surface level. They are very surface level. Very much so. And so in all those things, like it's very surface level. Like people are, many people can't see who you are. See, some of you should be heroes to people. There are people who shouldn't. There are people who should listen to their parents, but they don't listen to their parents because somebody on IG is more heroic to them. How you doing, Sister Beverly? How you doing, Brother Alton? Right? Like there's some people. I'm sorry, not how you doing, Brother Alton. I saw what you wrote, rather. Excuse me. Right? There's some people that literally like can't see anything if it doesn't look like what they are. Right? Some of your family members should be your heroes. Some of your fathers, I know some of your fathers weren't there, but some of your fathers should be your heroes. Right? But instead, they say, look outside your house. Right? There are family members who put their life on the line for you, but they're not your heroes. But you can't wait to meet your heroes. But like I said, Lil Wayne, he's teaching you all this stuff while being on lean. Maybe he's not doing lean anymore, but he's doing all that while being on lean. Right? NBA Youngboy, what he on? What's his face? 21 Savage. He was asked by Snoop, what's the first thing you do when you wake up? He said, I look for lean. I look for that purple drink. Right? Lil Boosie used to have it like people be stacking money and hitting it together. Lil Boosie used to have it like that in front of you. I mean, and nobody said, the big homie Snoop was right next to him. No offense. I know the big homie Snoop has some better things to say than what he used to, but Snoop was sitting right next to him interviewing him. Snoop didn't say, lean, bro, you need to get yourself together. He just said, oh, okay. And he kind of was like, man, that's kind of jacked up, is eating them up, but oh well. How you doing, Dre? That's kind of his mindset on it, his thought process on it. Oh, well. Yeah, I see you, Sister Mignon. Yeah, right. Like, I'm just trying to say, these are the people that people are looking at as their heroes. At some point, we got to say, they can't be our heroes. How you doing, Sister Shima? They can't be my hero anymore. Right. When I look back and I realize how much damage was done to our community, I'm not trying, like, if I write a hip hop lyric, I'm not trying to sneak in a Rick Ross reference to tell y'all how I'm the best out there. Right. Rick Ross is somebody that was killing us. And he himself will admit to you that he was killing us. He still has to make money off of it because that's all he's got. So he's gonna go around, do his interviews, write his books, and hope that he can make a little bit of money off of what he used to be. Right? So he can live his everyday life. And he's got it. And now watch this. See, the things that he thought made him heroic back then are now the things that are pimping him today. Uh-oh, somebody missed that. Let me give you a little something to think about. The things that he thought, how you doing, Sister Deja? The things that Rick Ross thought made him the man and everybody's hero back then. How you doing, Trini? Right? The things that he thought made him the man back then, right, are the things that now, is it Trini or Trini? Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. How you doing? The things that he thought made him the man back then, right, are the things that he can't escape from today. He'll be quick to tell you, hey, man, stay out the street. Don't sell them drugs. But guess what he got to do? He got to keep telling you about how he sold them drugs. In your work, praise Yah. Right? That's how he got to make his living now. So the making of thyself through others now, and he sees his only hope. Mm-hmm. So as much as he knows, and he'll tell you, oh yeah, it was bad. We didn't really know what we were doing. We just knew we were making money, so maybe you should be better. Don't think about those things the way that we used to, et cetera, et cetera. He's still doing those very same things. Because the things that he identified then with are the only things he really has left. He has to do those things. Right? His life is about those things. And he did, and if he came out and would try to get a job, he can't even get, jobs that he should be able to get. He has to remain attached to his past, the things that he thought made him a hero, or even if he didn't care about being a hero, but the things that people looked up to in him and still look up to in him in the wrong crowd are the things that he has to do to make sure that he can make what he can make. That's what the culture, so to speak, did. Right? Snoop can talk about peace, love, and all this stuff or whatever, but he's still gonna call you the N-word. He's still gonna talk about his gun. He's still gonna talk about I'm Crip. He's still gonna press people, talking about where you from, cuz. He's gonna still do a lot of that stuff. Because it's in him. Eminem, he's gone from looking for people all the time to go ahead and eviscerate and get all this anger out and being on drugs and stuff, to now he still comes out and does it. He still comes out and does it. He's more dressed up now about it, but he still does it. And no matter how much he tries to say I'm changing, he can't change. He has to always be that person. He's known in certain circles, he's known as the crazy white boy. He's not gonna be able to escape that if he's gonna be, in the power that he wants to be. He's got to be in what? Control, like we talked about earlier today, and even talked about on Patreon, and talking about that uncontrolled worship. They've got to stay in the same thing. Be careful about your heroes. A lot of your heroes don't even want to be in the position that they're in. How you doing, Chosen? Thanks for being on. Thank you for the love. Appreciate it. A lot of your heroes don't want to be your heroes, at least not the way that they are. Right? A lot of them. Tekashi 6ix9ine talks a lot of trash. You think Tekashi 6ix9ine wants to be afraid for his life for the rest of his life? At least for another 20, 30 years. And then in another 20, 30 years, some of those people that he put behind bars, they're going to be right back out. How you doing, Patrick? You think he's okay with that? You think he's happy about that? You think so he puts on a front in front of you and yells and says, can't nobody touch him and this and that or whatever. And he hopes that the police stay on their grind and secure him for the rest of his life. Can't tell you where he's going. If he does, somebody might try to get him. If he comes around the wrong person by accident, somebody might try to take his life because, he's a snitch. Now, I'm not one who thinks that snitches should be put to death necessarily, because I don't think that we should say that somebody who's killing folk deserves to go ahead and be protected like that. But hey, that's the oath that they make. That's how they do it. Remember, oaths an oath legally is a promise made to a god or a deity. They look at each other as gods and deities out there, and that's all that they have. And so they figure they'll go ahead and die. But I'm just saying, see, be careful who you make your heroes. Everybody was so busy trying to defend this man. And, he's going to be, if he makes it the rest of his life, right, however long that is, I pray that he come to Yah, he change his ways, and he stop worrying about having to be in control to be the man, and he just be a man. Be Yah's man. That would be great. He said, young man came on TikTok saying he experienced slavery. As far as some of that stuff, yeah, a lot of them are million. People don't like the term $1 million slaves. Some people don't, and they say how it's impossible for you to become a millionaire and be a slave at the same time. No, it's not. You have an owner, don't you? If you play on a football team, a basketball team, a baseball team, soccer team, whatever, don't you have an owner? If you have an owner, then it's possible for you to be there. And in prison, yeah, prison is slavery too. Prison is chattel slavery. I mean, the 13th Amendment told us that. The 13th Amendment just said that you can't be a chattel slave only because of the color of your skin. That's why they started making up certain rules about people and about the color who had a certain hue. How you doing, Sister Joy? You said, to be honest, you don't know anything about them. Yeah, I'm just saying, but there's people out there that do, and there's a lot of people that's their hero. A lot of people grew up NWA. You made them your heroes. N-words with attitude. Okay. When we look back, they were brash, they were willing to yell, they were willing to cuss. And we forget there's a lot of stuff that they said that was wild, and a lot of stuff they did was just despicable. But because they said F the police, we just go, oh, we needed that. Why are we so, watch this. Why do we need to create heroes so badly? Hear what I'm saying? We shouldn't be so, and I get why we think we need this, but hear what I'm saying. I'm going to say it this way. We do not need to make heroes so badly that we put bad people in position of heroes. We don't need to keep putting capes on bad people. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that movie Megamind, right? If you've never watched it, go watch it. That's a great example of putting a cape on somebody because you think you need a hero. If you know the movie Megamind, you know exactly what I'm talking about. People are looking for a savior. Yeah, we already have one, right? Amen, Minister Nice. People are looking for what we already have. We don't need idols, right? We need examples. You said they vote for people who own the prison system and the system. Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes it's people that own the prison, right? They're corporations too. Corporations do business with the prisons. Nike shoes are made in prison, not just in China. Right? So the system is set up to where we're making heroes out of these people. Matter of fact, they look for people that aren't deserving to be your heroes, but we think because they can dunk a basketball, they say, cool, put some basketball shoes on him. And so there's going to be some child wearing their shoes in the backyard, right? Or at the court, whatever. Oh, Los Angeles Lakers down by 2. LeBron James has the ball in his ear, ball in his hand. He goes ahead, he drives in, he switches to the left. No, he switches back to the right. He shoots, he scores. And no shade at LeBron. I'm just saying he's not our hero. I was talking with my wife about this, although this is not my mindset. It's something I learned from Malcolm X a long time ago, where he said that we are the only people that have been taught that it is all right because we're so away from ourselves and our own culture. And that's all we know nowadays. We're so far away from ourselves that we're the only culture that looks for comedians and our comedians and our comedians, our singers, our actors are supposed to be our leaders. Like, think about that. I'm not saying that there aren't comedians that don't talk about issues in other diasporas. What I'm saying is other diasporas are not sitting there going to Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan can talk about a lot of stuff, this and that or whatever, but Joe Rogan, they're not looking for Joe Rogan to make a decision about the country. You know what I'm saying? You can have, I don't really know people's names like that. Forgive me. They're not looking for, y'all go, I'm sorry. I should know this person's name. Tony Stark in real life, Iron Man in real life, Robert Downey Jr. People aren't looking for Robert Downey Jr. to teach you about civility and class, right? Matter of fact, we know that Robert Downey Jr. needs to have somebody on set to make sure that they keep him straight at all times. And he has people hired in his personal life to make sure that he's not getting into certain things or whatever. And that's okay. His responsibility is not do his responsibility is go on screen, make a movie. That's it. Right. And when he gets his money, he gives it back to the diaspora. Right. He gives it to his child's school. He gives it to this, he gives it to that. We are so into stuff that we make people our heroes and we look for anybody else. And so it's funny, you remember years ago, Charles Barkley said he wasn't a role model. Yeah. And how did they treat Charles? They treated Chuck like he was nothing. How dare you? Everybody came, especially our people. How dare you come against him, blah, blah. And look, I think that Charles should make it a point to realize that there are people that look up to him, but I ultimately agree with him, right? Yeah, nobody did ask Larry Bird if he was a role model. Matter of fact, Larry Bird wasn't a great role model. Still isn't, if you look at his personal life. Right. It's like my wife was talking about, regardless of what you feel, whether you agree with the girl or not. What's the girl? Carly something? The girl who, matter of fact, we have a family member that knows the family or whatever. Carly, whatever her name is, that everybody's talking about. And she said that she was gone and everybody's saying she's lying. I think I might even make a video about it because a lot of people don't recognize how deep this goes, that she probably did get. If you know how this goes, like we have family members that have been through stuff and have had similar situations, and people tell you the story, this and that or whatever, and it'd be outright lies and this and that, but whatever. If you agree she didn't do it, she did do it, she lied, she didn't lie, whatever your stance is, hear what I'm saying. In all that, you know what the interesting thing about all this is that in all this stuff going on, the reason why it hits different with Carly, and the reason why you're going to see a lot of us be the ones to denigrate her more than anybody else, right, is because we've been taught to do that to ourselves. Because truth be told, how many women of other diasporas, right? Let's just keep it a buck. How many women of another diaspora have done the same thing, or have cried wolf, or have said that people try to do things to them, have turned on the tears, and nobody has said anything other than, oh, that's bad, but let's keep it moving. We got more stuff to do today. But everything's going to stop, though, for this one sister, whether you agree with what she did or not. And by the way, nobody knows exactly what happened but her and y'all. Because here's another thing, too. Now, this is, you can call this conspiracy theory or whatever, but I'm telling you, like, I'm probably going to do a little video on it because there's some stuff that's happened in my personal life and my family's life that probably shed some light on it to where I look at it different than you guys do. She could, like I said, I don't know what did or didn't happen, but it's really interesting to me that us, with the relationship that we have with the police, are tuned into everything the police had to say. Like everything the police tell you is true. Like everything the FBI tells you is true. It's just a little odd, right? Just being honest, right? How many times have you been told this or that or whatever? Everything they tell you is true. And even if that's the case, nobody's going to think about, does she have a mental health issue? Apparently, when she came back to her house, she wasn't doing too well physically. Nobody gonna bring that up. That maybe there's something that's wrong. If she did, in fact, I don't know what she did or didn't do, but we're not gonna bring it up. But see what I'm saying? See, everybody made a hero out of her. And so now many people, I was saying this earlier today, many people are going to come down at her because we put you up high. So since we put you up high, now we got to make you look bad since you made us look like a fool. It's not about you. It's not about you right now. And people are so quick. Yeah, we're going to put her in prison. How many? Look, we can give you names. I mean, heck, did she pass away? The one that had, I'm trying to say Trayvon Martin. That's not correct. Emmett Till, the one that did Emmett Till, how long did she live? Out of jail. And people were having her back. Her diaspora had her back. See, but once again, be careful about who your heroes are. Stop making other people your hero. Yeah, they're taking it personal. Stop making these people your hero. Elvis is the king of rock and roll. No, he's not. Elvis had to listen to people like B.B. King. Elvis went to certain churches and listened to them sing and play. Elvis had people that were on the payroll that would literally sing his songs, that he would learn how to sing them after they had already came out on wax. The same way that y'all did. Sister Rosetta Thorpe. That's who taught Elvis. That's the queen for us. Chuck Berry. That's the king for us. Little Richard. That's the king. I know y'all don't like it, calling him the king, but that's who it was. If there was no Little Richard, the Beatles don't even exist. He took the Beatles out on tour with him. James Brown went on tour with him. Jimi Hendrix went out on tour with him. You know the Chitlin Circuit? You ever heard of the Chitlin Circuit? If you haven't, do some research. You see what I'm saying? But you make these people your king. Why? This whole thing about the Little Mermaid. Oh, we need a black Little Mermaid. For what? Why do you need your people to be involved with Poseidon? That's who King Triton is. He's Poseidon. He's Neptune. That's not my king. Is it these people today don't know the truth? Yeah, we don't even try to look at it. But it's real talk. It's real talk. Like these are our kings and queens. What about your Manses? What about your pharaohs? What about the ones who were the mothers of the golden stool? Right? Like, why do we know more about Victoria than we know? We've made people our heroes. They are not. And even if somebody told you that was your hero, for you to continue it after you know that's not your hero, that's messed up. You said they should have gave her an afro regarding the Little Mermaid. I don't think. Well, I guess I'm just saying that's not our culture. Afro or not, I guess if she's underwater, afro don't really work that well, technologically speaking. They probably made that decision from the jump and said we need to just go ahead and give her some braids, right? Still made her hair red and everything though, because we can't go too far away from it. No, I know. I started to get into it, and then I was like, "Oh, she's joking." Can you imagine the nightmare of being abducted and people and trying to help, and all these people are vilifying you? Yeah. And so, as we said, like there's a lot of things to where I would lean towards it with my family's own history, to where I would say I would probably lean towards something happened. And if you want to go into further depth in it, there's certain things that I'm not going to use this platform right now to get into. I will say this, that don't forget who the police are. Who do you think are the first, like, can we keep it a buck with something? You said you ran away from your situation. Nobody ever believed you. Yeah. Watch this. Slavery still exists, not just in prisons. 13th Amendment says slavery is still allowed, by the way, but not just in prisons. Slavery still exists as far as slave trade. You call it sex trafficking or whatever. Okay? It still exists. If it exists at the level that it does, Do you think that the police are aware of it or not aware of it? I'm just saying, right? If slavery exists on the level that it does, call it sex trafficking, right? Call it organ, people having their organs removed. Sorry, my wife was saying the police were using her to try and convict someone. Yeah, so they try to impersonate her on Facebook and things, right? So the police do all types of stuff like that, right? I just want you to recognize, and there are a lot of us that have a lot even deeper. My wife's and stuff. I don't want to get too deep into certain things as far as her or even some of our family, right? But there are things to where we know that it's not as simple as the police have no clue if somebody gets abducted, or the police are not sure what would have happened or something like that, right? But I'm just trying to tell you, you're not going to sit there and say police have no clue about all this sex trafficking. We just talked about not too long ago, Robert Kraft, New England Patriots, right? We brought that up recently, right? Robert Kraft, New England Patriots. He was going down to Florida with a known place where it was sex trafficking, and they only brought him up when they were trying to prove or whatever was there. They put him on camera, right? But he never went to jail. But they used him as an example because they wanted to win the case real bad. But the police were aware of it. Sometimes they let the stuff go on because they're trying to get like a RICO case. So they'll let 100 and something girls, 200, 1,000, 5,000 get traded easy because they're just trying to make sure that they get the main person and can get enough testimonies, have enough evidence, because the feds, they don't want to lose a case, right? They like 95% in getting their cases. So they're not trying to lose a case. If something goes before the feds are always going to win. So they'll let a lot of people's lives be extinguished and be changed forever. But people will just believe because you've made heroes out of the police. Yeah, they're very much aware. So it's a weird mindset to have that crime, like you can't have all this crime. Like, it's like when people talk about South Side Chicago or Southeast DC, right? Or they talking about, whatever ward in H-Town, or talking about Ward 7 and 8 in DC, or talking about West Baltimore, East Baltimore, across the train tracks or whatever. I'm sorry, what you say, babe? A prosecutor told her that it's not about wrong or right. It's about winning and prosecuting at all costs. Very true, right? I told you guys before, when I went to jail, there was a guy, before in the prison and stuff, there was a guy that told me, don't worry about anything, just play the game. He said, nobody cares if you're innocent or guilty, play the game. It's about winning and losing. Nobody cares about whether you did it or not, right? You'll see people that deserve 17 life sentences consecutively and will say, Your Honor, I'm sorry. And because they apologize and say exact wording the way that the judge wants it to be heard, so it looks like that the judge can be nice to them, they'll give them a 10-year sentence. Then you have somebody that pop up right behind them and they'll get life for something that it's very clear they probably didn't even do. And at the most, maybe should have got 2 years and got some, and 2 years a chance to get off for positive behavior and to be able to get out into society, even if they had to make sure that they were having to check in with the parole officer for years, right? But they don't care about it. It's about again. But I'm trying to tell you, like, people don't comprehend this. Who do you think, like, if you're talking about Southside Chicago, all this stuff going on, see, because you made heroes out of the police officers, you made heroes out of the mayor, you made heroes out of the judges, you made heroes out of the lawyers, right? But who do you think polices Southside Chicago? They got rid of the Black Panthers. The Black Panthers were about to bring the Bloods and Crips together. That's why they had to get rid of a 19-year-old child who was stepping up for his community and offed him in front of his pregnant fiance. Oh, you fine, Sage. Thanks for being on. You said then climbing in the passenger side. Mm-hmm. Yeah. right? Who do you think policed Chicago into the situation it's in now? Who do you think made Skid Row Skid Row? I ain't doing, Sister Melissa, right? We made heroes out of these people that don't deserve to be your heroes. How you doing, Savannah? We have made heroes. Look, we know better, and we still make heroes out of them. Well, if the police said they did it, I mean, the police wouldn't just make something up. What evidence do you have to tell you that it is 0% possible that police could be making something up? Well, if the doctors say this, and clear is exactly what the doctors say. Have you not heard of the Tuskegee experiment? Well, nobody would just come into a city that wasn't deserving of anything and just do something. They must have been like Sodom and Gomorrah. Have you not heard of Wilmington, North Carolina? Have you not heard of Rosewood, Florida? Have you not heard of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania? Have you not heard of Tulsa, Oklahoma? Have you not heard of the one that's been the city? What is it? Seneca Village that's been covered. You call it in New York. What park is that? Central Park. And the city that's covered up by the water that you go around in Central Park, that's right next to it. But you make such heroes out of your former, well, really not even for some former, but your masters, right? Your masses, and you make heroes out of them to the point to where you forget that there used to be people here before them. And be careful. And I know this is somebody on social media telling you this, but whatever. If it's Yah's will that y'all will go away after I say this, and so be it. Be careful about a lot of these people that they showing you on social media like that. There's a reason why certain people make it on social media and certain people don't. Be aware of that, family. Be aware of that. You said you used to work at civil courts in St. Louis. Facts, yeah. Be aware that there's a reason why certain people are going to get to a blue check mark. And I love some of these brothers. I have a relationship with some of these brothers and sisters that made it to that level. Still, be aware of what got them there. You got to speak a certain lingo. You got to be made into their hero. There's brothers out there, there's brothers and sisters that are out there that are spitting some real facts, but they don't get to spit those real facts unless they bow down and say, oh yeah, LGBTQ plus all the way. And I'm not here to say that I have a heaven or hell to put anybody in. I'm just telling you how it works. They out here, they want you and I to believe. Check this out. They want you and I to believe that the baby has been canceled because you all of a sudden overnight decided to stop listening to him. If they tell the baby, see, once again, you can be $1 million slave. If they tell the baby you're not going to perform here no more, you're not performing. What you think this is? Who you think is in charge of this? Who you think owns the stadiums? The same people who own the players, the same people who own your gasoline, the same people who own your television, the same people who own your television rights, the same people who own your advertisement, the same people who own your media. The baby is a rapper that was very popular for a little bit. And then all of a sudden he made a statement against LGBTQ plus. They gave him a chance to apologize. He started to apologize, but then he doubled down on what he was saying. And so now they tell you, oh, he's canceled. And they want you to believe he's just a broke boy out here somewhere too. Now, if he's smart, he'll go ahead and start doing his own thing, get from under his contract when they say, hey, you're kind of toxic for us to make money off of anymore, and then come back and be able to do his own thing. If he's smart. I'm just trying to tell you, be careful. See, if you're going to become a hero in their system, you must sell out. Be careful about these heroes that you make. And that ultimately is where we really want to go. So they always stagnate your content. You don't sell out. Yeah. And here's another thing too. When I say be careful about the heroes that you make, let's be honest, you ain't really making no hero. You might help to keep them afloat. You might buy their stuff, but you didn't make them. They made them. They made them. Did you make the Backstreet Boys? No. They said New Edition is out here and they've been waxing the game. They said we need to put that together too. And none of them went out here and had successful. Now one of them from the boy from Disney, Justin Timberlake. Now he's not Backstreet. He's whatever the other group is, right? But they made them. They made them in the lab. They saw what you did organically, and they said, let's take that in the lab and make it chemically. You said this world is crazier than most will ever know. You were completely unaware there until something happened, until that happened to you. Amen. I'm sorry, I missed the other part. Sorry. I must have missed it. You said you see that now in the last 2 years in this app? Mm-hmm. But we're waking up now. Yeah, I must have missed a whole bunch of stuff. Sorry, y'all. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm just trying to say, you said the world seems to be a rabbit hole. Well, there's a lot of rabbit holes in the world, for sure. You said no one saw the mother bear till you try to take your babies. Yeah. And people don't want to be honest. Oh, NSYNC, that was the name of the group I was talking about. Thank you. Yeah. So I'm how you doing, Sister Nadine? So I'm just saying, be careful about these heroes. They're not your heroes. First of all, you didn't make these heroes. They made them in the laboratory. They studied reality, and they said, how can we make more money off of it? How can we? Because for us, in order to make money off of what's reality, you have to tell everybody what's real is not as valuable. We'll make your haircuts clean cut and everything, but then we'll give fake braids to somebody in NSYNC. We'll have you fall in love with the guy in NSYNC. You know, one of the guys you fall in, is it Backstreet Boys or NSYNC? One of the guys that you fall, I think it's NSYNC, one of the guys you fall in love with, and he's, into homosexuality. He doesn't even like girls anyways, but y'all will pine for him. Thank you. How you doing, Brother Anthony? I'm sorry, slavery and abduction is big business, especially in a declining economy. For sure. And it never stopped being big business. The 13th Amendment told you that. The design, this country or this corporation or the West, and other countries too, let's keep it a buck. It's not just a white thing, but slavery has been big business for many. And that's why, if you knew that you were a slave, you would, if you wanted to get out of slavery, first thing you would do is make sure that you were non-citizen national and stop paying taxes. Like slavery is big business. Slavery comes to a place where you have to be property, right? Like that's why you get into the straw man stuff. If you're going to make an LLC or a trust, you know this, right? When you create an LLC, when you create a trust, you're creating a straw man. Straw man is dealing with property law and property law. So you can't even talk about when we say, or when anybody teaches that your birth certificate is a straw man, they're talking about property law, right? You can't be a straw man, have a straw man, identify with a straw man, or create a straw man unless you're talking about property, something to help you in property. So why do you get a trust or an LLC? Let's say you want to buy land. You want to buy the land in the name of a trust. You're creating a straw man. It is not an actual person, but it will be treated as a person, right? And it might be for you, but you've created the straw man so that your straw man will be able to have it and therefore deal with any consequences that might be positive or negative. If they're negative, they don't come at you, they come at your straw man. Also, too, you can make sure that you write a trust for your straw man, which is a personal, private way of making sure that your straw man can be treated as a person and have things that as a person it governs itself by. Meanwhile, right, when you're dealing with the person is not even though the person technically is on the property, they don't own the property. Therefore, you're not dealing with that. That's what a straw man is. Your birth certificate is a way of making sure that they don't actually ever deal with you, but they get you to identify with something that's not you. And a lot of you identify with your straw man, but see, you haven't been taught right. A trust or an LLC is basically a straw man. If it's a straw man and you're designing it so that nobody can deal with you, then you must recognize that your birth certificate is a tool to make sure that nobody should deal with you either. So if I use my birth certificate, I'm only using my birth certificate to say I'm a naturally born person. So I'm a natural person. But outside of that, I don't need it. Even when people talk about authenticating, I was just talking about this stuff earlier with somebody today, so that's why it's fresh in my mind. But even when people talk about I want to authenticate my birth certificate, why would you authenticate something that is a straw man that says that you're not a real person? The only time you should even think about it, and it's still risky to do, because if you have your passport situation to take care of, then you don't need the straw man to verify who you are. The only reason that even counts is there are certain countries that if you're trying to do certain business things, they might need your birth certificate, and if they need your birth certificate, sometimes uh, uh, they don't think of American or United States corporation birth certificates. They don't think of them as being real. So you get it authenticated in that case. But even still, if you have other things together, why would you go that route? It's kind of a waste of time, to be honest with you. And it's a risk, because now, like, you better make sure if you get into that you have somebody signing something to say that, hey, if I'm gonna make this risk and authenticate my birth certificate, then I need to have on paper, as soon as it's assigned, you're going to go ahead and give me what I want. Right? How you doing, urban missionary? So I'm just saying, you have to go into a place to where, you have to go into a place and have a realization and have a proper thought process. You said, yes, you went a job interview. They were asking for your birth certificate. Never had that happen before. Well, yeah, but even if they and if they ask you for your birth certificate, especially if you're United States of America, that was somebody tripping. Because to be honest with you, unless it's a specific thing, but still, they don't. They would need your birth certificate, and you're so, like, basically they should give you options. They should be like, you can give your birth certificate and this. You can give you can give your birth certificate and this, or you should be able to just say, here's my passport. If you have your passport together, especially, hopefully you have it as your non-citizen national status or whatever on there. But if you have your passport, you don't need to give any of that. Your passport is golden. Your passport has everything that they need. Because why? Because it's internationally recognized. So if it's internationally recognized, it takes care of everything everywhere you go, right? Anywhere you go around the world, give them your passport. Give them your passport at the hotel. Give them your passport. If you get pulled over, give them your passport. If you're getting on a plane, give them your passport. If you're going to another country, give them your passport. If you're getting on a bus, give your passport. If you're getting on the train, whatever. But somebody who doesn't know better will ask you for those things. You'll have a police officer. You'll have somebody in, and well, we talked about police. We've made heroes, or we thought that these people know more than us because we don't study. So we've made heroes out of HR. Go to HR and make sure that they say no, you need to study and tell HR what they're supposed to do. You said they wanted a passport first. Never had that happen. Wrote something else. You said, is it detrimental to get a passport in these times? No. Why not? There's nothing wrong with having a passport at all. You said this is why they don't take birth certificates in Mexico anymore. Passports home. Yeah. A lot of places. So if you're going to authenticate, but even still, if you authenticate it, guess what? Like, if you authenticate it, try to take it to Mexico. No, this passport's been authenticated. They're going to look at you like, so what? Where's your passport? Right. And that's why you need to change your status on your passport. Right. Like, I'm going to throw something out here. Take it as you will. Take it or leave it. Right. There's going to be a time coming up. I want to say soon, but I don't know how soon. So I'm not going to act like I got some years together for you. There's going to be a time coming to where you are going to go somewhere. And if you don't make sure that your passport is updated to make sure that you're, looked at as a non-citizen national in any country that you're in, it's not just America, you can do that. If you don't make sure that your stuff is together to where you're not under whatever citizenship of that country or state or whatever is not changed, you're about to be in trouble. Because everything's about to be under one rule. You're not that far from it already. Like you guys talk about China versus America versus India versus England versus Russia. All of them are republics. All of them are republics. It's not going to take too much. Matter of fact, what was it? I forget what it is now. Brazil, India, Russia, China, and South Africa. Is it BRICS? They're calling it BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. They're basically about to start using the same currency. When they do that, it's going to be game over for a lot of stuff. Now, Russia won't necessarily get rid of it or do certain things like that, and China won't, because they're kind of the end all be all of themselves. But once their stuff goes down, as far as the value of their money a little bit more, like they're already starting to get into having their own cryptocurrency. Once the value of their paper go down a little bit more, and America's continue to go down, they're going to say, like, what are we doing? Like, we need to make sure we have a confederation together. Like it's the stuff is there. That's why a lot of African nations have been trying to have their own stuff, especially since Gaddafi left. They've been trying to have, matter of fact, they have their own system. I don't know if they have their own currency yet, but they have their own system of spending money with several African nations. They're trying to get that to improve because they can see what's about to happen. You better start nation building, and you better start making sure that you have some currency. You know, you're allowed to have currency right now. Like, you could be in the United States. Once we get the land stuff more together and we get closer to living with each other, we're going to have currency of our own. It is totally legal. And all we got to do is make sure when you come over that we switch our currency out with theirs or whatever. And eventually, if we even want to start doing business with people online, we can start doing business through the currency. And it doesn't take that much. Now, we got to be quicker on this one. You know, we're trying to make sure the land stuff together, but it doesn't even take that much to make your own bank. Right? Like, you can be totally separate from a system pretty easily. People can make micronations and stuff pretty easily. It's not that difficult. You have to be dedicated to it no matter what. That's the problem that we have. Right? Is that we've made such heroes of them that we don't even think of ourselves as being people we can lift up enough, and a nation and a culture that we can lift up enough to where we can take care of us. You get mad when the Jew does it. Why? You get mad when the white man does it. Why? That's what you're supposed to do. We talked about this before when we talked about being constant, and we had that last N, that second N, second to last letter, and that second N stood for nepotism. And people were, and I know people at first, because you're so used to nepotism having only a negative context, but these words have positive and negative context. You need to have a system set in place. That's what the ISM is, the system. You need to have nepotism, a system that can make sure that it is nepotic, to ensure that your children's children are going to be taken care of. You need a system that says that you will be rewarded. And this is really ultimately, when we're talking about Sister Kaylee, this is really the problem that's going on more than anything else. You ready? Sister Kaylee, if I be honest with you, is in a place to where, I'm going to go two ways with it. First way, let's be negative. Let's say she made it up completely. I don't believe that. My family doesn't believe that. My wife doesn't believe that. Right? I'm making that clear. That's our stance. I don't believe that she just made it up. However, let's just, for the sake of argument right now, we'll flip it in a second. For the sake of argument, let's say that Sister Kaylee made everything up 100%. Do you think that if she was in a system that respected her and made her feel secure, that she would have ever done that? See, but we don't want to have that conversation, because that means we don't just get to point our finger at her and say, look at how terrible she was, how terribly disgusting she was. What makes somebody believe that they need to do that? Even if you want to say she was looking for attention, what makes her feel like she had so little attention that she had to do that? Has something to do with us. Has something to do with her not getting affection, not feeling secure. You said collectively they pulled their resource management and leadership together with the Jewish community. Hey. And we should do the same with our own communities. You said you want to get out of the system, but you don't have the funds or resources to do it. Why not? You see what I'm saying? We're trapped. I don't have the funds. I don't have the resources. Why not? We have to start asking questions. I'm not trying to come at you specifically, sis, by the way. Right? But we have to start asking ourselves, why not? I make under the poverty line. I live free. I'm not trying to come against you. I'm just trying to say we could do this together better than we can do this apart. Some of you have begun to come out of this stuff. Some of you are making your own food now and doing this stuff. I've said this before. We didn't get it done this year, but we keep putting it out there, right? We have a little bit of it starting to take shape. But man, we have people that are all the way down from South Florida and all the way up to at least Massachusetts, Rhode Island. And we have people that are no more than an hour in between, just this on the East Coast. There's no reason why we couldn't have people growing food and start trading food amongst ourselves. On a regular basis, once a month, we could just make sure, right, for 6 months out of a year, we could make sure food is traded and nobody is without. That's before we even try to come together physically. You see, like some of those things are some of the easier things. Living off prayer and children. Okay. Well, if you need help, I didn't know that was the case. Maybe you told me and I forgot. If I did, I apologize. But if we can help in different ways or even do things to raise stuff from time to time, we don't have as much as what I'd normally just like to be able to reach in my pocket and give because we're this close to, finishing out some stuff with the land. But yeah, and even with that, depending on where you are, you might be near some brothers and sisters that can make sure that they can, or even if you want only sisters only, or you want to meet people in public places or whatever the case might be able to help. So maybe I did know that. If I did, I apologize to Melissa, right? So you're in New Jersey. So yeah, if you get a chance, I know, actually, hold on. Am I mistaking you for somebody else? I might be mistaking you for somebody else. I'm not sure if we texted or not, but if you have our number, text us, email us. Let us know. We have people that are in the New Jersey area. We just did a meet up there not too long ago, and they've been, at least from what I've heard, we've done a pretty decent job at least trying to stay in contact. But there's people up there going through similar situations. You could probably help each other. It's better to go through it with somebody else than to go through it by yourself. But this is when it comes to we have to put it in motion and keep it there, and not just do it once and sacrifice, but it's got to be constant, consistent. It has to be obedience. You thought fathers were nurturing in the way that they should be, and daughters wouldn't seek trash. Sorry to say that. No, I agree with you. I agree with you that fathers should be in position, mothers should be in position, and mothers feel unprotected, so they start acting like fathers, and fathers feel like they don't get respect, so they start seeking attention of mothers. And that's why we need each other. At some point, it's got to be we got to get this done together, and it's become heroic for the sister to be the single mother. It's become heroic for the father to take care of his child without ever being in the child's presence. Now, I know there are some fathers that don't even do that. I'm just saying these are things that we look up, we put as the things that we say, look at that father. You see, he takes care of his child. I mean, he sees him on the weekends. No, he takes care of his child. I mean, okay, he splits time with the mother, but the greatest father figure that child could have is one that's a great husband to his wife. And the greatest mother figure that child could have would be one that's a great wife towards her husband. Right. And watch this. And I agree with you, Sister Bree. I'm gonna just change up your wording a little bit. The Most High can fix anything in his system. Right. Their system is not broken. Their system works. Their system is supposed to cause divorce. It works very well. Their system is supposed to make women feel like they have to step up and be masculine because men that are supposed to be masculine are not protecting their feminine nature. Right? Like this system works wonders. Right? And I think that's what we have it twisted in is we're going, I need the system to work because in our mind, I need to be in the system. The system is doing exactly what it's supposed to. And how you doing, God Particle? Right? The system's doing exactly what it's supposed to. How you doing, Sister Patricia? So we have to look at it and stop making these people our heroes. How you doing, Talbert? It is not heroic. It's gonna mess with some people. I don't mean any harm in this, sisters. I hope you know my heart, right? I'm not saying that you are not outstanding. I'm not saying that you are not incredible. I'm not saying that you are not wise. I'm not saying that you are not doing the best that you can do. Hear what I'm saying, though. We cannot make heroes out of single mothers anymore. We have to help them. We have to make sure that we bless them. We have to make sure that we even give them credit for what they have to do. But in our society, we need to start making wives heroes again. All right. I'm not trying to, I hope you don't take it mean and pray about it. Maybe you don't like what I'm saying. I can feel somebody doesn't like what I'm saying. Brothers, we cannot make heroes out of men who are not involved with the mother of their children anymore, or this, or you're right. Like, and I know there's extenuating circumstances. I have to be careful when I say this. I know that there are sisters that can't stay with the men, right, that they're with, because they're not husbands and they're abusive and they do all types of stuff and they're into fornication, false images of marriage, and yada yada yada. I get it, right? But I'm saying we got into a place to where we aren't even looking at making sure that people are going to stay together forever. Matter of fact, you said, do I ever speak to children? Sure, all the time. What is it that we need to get to, Big Bad Wolf? I'm sorry. I have children. I have, and we take care of many children that are part of our community. But that being said, what is the actual, if you don't mind, if you can just give me the quick question, right? I'm not sure how to answer that, because you might just be asking the question as far as, can we help a child or something like that? I don't know if you're talking about you want to do stuff with this as far as our, the stuff we do for people that homeschool, or the actual stuff we talk to as far as children specifically, things like that. Okay, in that regard. Okay, I didn't know exactly what you were meaning, so I didn't know which way to go. Thank you for clearing it up. Yeah, so yeah, things like that. If invited, yeah, we'll go anywhere if invited, and if so led, and everything will be right, and all those things like that. How do I feel about homeschool? We homeschool, and we have homeschooling programs that we do to help parents to make sure that their children get different types of instruction and get it from something that's tailored specifically towards them. So most definitely. But yeah, you can reach out at any time. My wife, I think, just put the information if you'd like to even text us about it or whatever, and we can get back to you. But yeah. My wife actually, who put it in the chat, she's the one that actually is really, 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 really over the homeschool stuff. I'm involved, but she's heavily involved. She's the one that makes it work with the help of y'all. So yeah. But this has to be something that's from the children on up. And at the end of the day, we have to begin to reevaluate who we're making heroes. Ultimately, like I said, you don't get to make the hero. You could, within your own community, start to be able to say, this is who we say is the hero. You could do that. You could do that. Right? But that's not necessarily what people are doing. We're looking for the heroes that they give you, and then we're just saying we want to be like them. And then when you can't be like them because you were never supposed to be like them, now you're like, I don't know how to make this work. Right. And if you want more information on what we're doing, my wife, it's just her comment is pinned up there. So if you'd like to be able to text us for more information. Also, too, you can always go to our main, if you're on YouTube, of course, you can look in the chat. I'm sorry, in the description with the video. If you're on TikTok, you can look on our main TikTok channel, click on the link tree, and then just go to kofi-40.com or go to the YouTube channel. And either way, find, through looking at some of the videos or whatever, find a way to be able to contact us. But we thank you all. We appreciate you for being on. Vega wants it to be every day. Hey, she can be on there every day if she wants. Right. We praise y'all. No, but yeah, but she's a great student, especially for Shabbat school and stuff. Well, really, Shabbat school. We got French class. We have Solomon's Kung Fu Club. So there's a lot of stuff we already given besides things that a lot of children are getting, period, and things that they're getting through our parents that we're giving the parents. So we're excited about that. But that's all I have for tonight. I could continue to go on and on. At this point, I think we're doing more advertising than actual teaching, and I don't mind that to a certain degree. But I'm gonna go ahead and take my leave, get a little bit of rest, try to get ready for tomorrow, bright and early, 8 a.m. Eastern New York time, with another message. We thank you all for being on. We appreciate you so very much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. We give all praise and honor to the Most High, and we give all praise and honor to Him for my wife, the Honorable Maya, who lives a life that's able to be honored. You can check her out on TikTok, YouTube, her website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish. not A and D, the letter N, bloom and flourish. She's a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist by degree. We thank you guys for supporting her. Thank you for supporting SOC. Thank you for loving and supporting one another. And thank you for your prayers for myself and my family. We really appreciate you. So we'll see you tomorrow. We look forward to talking to you guys. We got 2 MITs that I'm supposed to talk to you personally about. We're with tomorrow before we all talk on Saturday. And as a reminder, everybody at SOC, we're having a meeting, SOC meeting for everyone, 12:30 p.m. Eastern New York time. We're having a meeting for the MITs on Saturday, 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern New York time. We're having the sisters are having a meeting at 7 p.m. Eastern New York time. All right. So thank you all. We appreciate you. We honor you. You guys take care. As always, has been Pastor Kofi, Pastor Servant of Christ, but we are always changing lives one mind at a time, but being a voice of the voiceless and speaking the unspoken. And until we have the great privilege, opportunity, and responsibility of being in front of you all again, please remember, as always, Yashala, that you are loved, you are necessary, you are majestic, you're fearfully and wonderfully made, and you, which is all of us working together, will be the reason why people who are in this system no longer have to be of it. Shalom, family. Talk to you soon.